Hello, my name is Garrett. I stream under the name of Steve Solis on Twitch, and you may have seen a couple of my previous videos. This one's going to be quite a bit different. In this video, I'm going to explain my thought process when I'm playing the game and the strategy that comes along with it. There are a couple of key pieces to the strategy, and I'm going to be going over all of them being aim, positioning, and game sense. And with these 3 points, you can improve pretty quickly over the course of just a few months. We'll start off with positioning. One of the most important factors to a person's play is their ability to maneuver the map efficiently and effectively. Here, you'll see a clip of me not only getting shot in the back, but also reacting to a threat, repositioning, and ultimately appearing behind the enemy player. With this, I can do exactly what he tried to do to me, but with greater effect. The easiest way to start practicing your movement is to go on an empty server and go to preferably Narvik and just start jumping between the windows on the Sea Flag of Conquest. This area is very nice since the building's second floor windows are close together. Here you can see me practicing myself. Now imagine someone is behind you and your only option is to run. The difference between living and dying is determined by how effectively you get away. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to get away when you crouch hop through 2 windows instead of having multiple animations that will take away your ability to shoot for a substantial amount of time. By the way, jumping down from second story windows is a no-no. The animations for jumping from windows are very obnoxious and keep your gun down for way too long. Another key factor to positioning is taking your weapon's effective range into account. If you're sniping, don't be so far up that a medic can kill you. Sniping from common spots would get you killed faster than an AA cannon on Twisted Steel Airborne. The same goes for the rest of the classes. Medics need to be close range, support needs to be medium range, and assault can do whatever the hell they want just because, well, they're assault. And if you die to a medic while you're anything but a medic, you are probably too close for your range. As an aside, I would like to also point out that effective use of gadgets is crucial, whether it be medics reviving with use of smoke or supports and assaults taking out tanks. These features are there for a reason and they need to be used. I see all the time people who don't even know how to revive. They'll be standing on top of you trying to find the E key on their keyboard, and one of 2 things will happen to them. They will either get the revive off after, most of the time without using their smoke launcher, or they will just get headshot because they're standing still like a target dummy. Most players just don't understand the effectiveness of strategy over fun. Just think about your next step, and your stats and scoreboard will start showing it. Okay, so now you have solid positioning. What's next? Well, you can start worrying about game sense. Game sense is one of those things where when you start playing the game, you either have it or you don't. Now that may seem bad for those that don't, but luckily everyone does have a mini-map. By using the map to your advantage, it will allow you to plan your next move, and it will usually be far more effective. Take for example a Ross. With so many places to hide, whether it be tall grass in the fields or small buildings in the center, you will find yourself getting caught out by people holding angles. But with proper game sense, and as I said before, positioning, you can eliminate the threat before it even becomes a threat. Now say an MG42 is straight down the main road on a Ross Conquest E-Flag. The average player will just jump across the road and they will pray they don't die to the machine gun. Now the experienced player on the other hand will see the threat on the minimap and attempt to flank. The flank will most likely be successful considering the enemy team not putting players on that area since, well, there's an MMG covering it. The game sound is also a pretty big factor when considering one's game sense. Now I do understand that Battlefield 5's sound is pretty terrible at the current state, but you can still occasionally get good sound cues. While they aren't always there, you can still use the ones you get to your advantage. Paying attention to tracer fire and scanning tops of the hills can also play to your advantage, in a big way, especially because 3D spotting is extremely rare to see now. Doing all of these things will not only improve you as a player, but you will feel much more comfortable when you get into crazy situations and you'll be able to work your way out instead of just running to your death. So here's where it gets difficult. Say your positioning's on point and your game sense is that of the predator. What's next? Well, aim. Aim is a difficult subject. People can recommend sensitivities and DPIs, but it all comes down to one thing. What are you comfortable with? I've played with both extremes and done fairly well with both, and what I can draw from that is that it doesn't really matter how fast or how slow your sense is, you just have to be accurate and comfortable with it. I've used 400 DPI with 15% in-game, and I've played around pretty much just with sensitivity. This gives me a 16-inch 360 rotation. With this low sense, most of my motions are with my arm and I aim with my wrist. Outside of the game, you can change your DPI if your mouse supports it, but I'd recommend keeping the adjustment to the game just because it makes it a little bit easier. This style is typically slower than a twitch style. Players like my friend Mr. Kaiser use that twitch style of aiming to great effect. Some of the most skilled players of Battlefield are twitch aimers. Mr. Kaiser prefers a 6.2-inch 360, so his motions are mostly wrist instead of arms, and you'll use your fingers to aim. If you're interested in checking him out, I'll leave a link in the description. It shows proof that it doesn't matter how high or low your sense is, all you have to do is play and think. So many times my aim has been bad, but with using the other two factors, I was able to outthink, outskill, and outplay enemy players. These aren't everything that is involved with becoming a better player, but these are good ideas to base your improvement around. I could go into more specific details about gadgets and their functions, or even when and when not to try and get revived, but that would take hours. These are just crucial basics that allow you to improve over a period of time, and if you can practice them and try your best to master them, your gameplay will improve exponentially. It just takes time. Guys, I appreciate it for you guys making it all the way through this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. If you really enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe. We'll have more of this coming out here within the next week or so, so be watching out for it. Take care, guys.